Hi, this is Lorraine, and I'm doing another video. If you'll give me a second to clear, center, and balance my energy, we'll get started. Okay, just gonna start. June 11th. This is from last week's video to this week's video. At the end of last week's video, I stated that my focus would change. I think that last video was dated June 10th. I wasn't sure what that meant when I said it, but the messages that come in today tell me that it is not a time to talk about releasing old paradigms, constructs, perceptions. Now it is time to manifest the release. This is not something that happens overnight. This is something that has been happening for years. The betrayals towards me that happened in December of 2021, that's personal situations, have created karmic consequences. I don't really want to talk about specifics of those events which happened simultaneously, but what those events did was open the door to releasing. The people involved in these experiences showed me and the divine who they were and what they were capable of. This allows me to personally release them from my field with love and gratitude for the experiences brought to my life. Their words, actions, and intentions flow within the divine consciousness and manifest karmic consequences for those words, actions, and intentions. These consequences could be positive or negative. The divine consciousness does not judge, but the laws of karma, attraction, manifestation, and flow will bring about these consequences. Addiction, anger, bitterness, resentment are not excuses. We cannot make excuses for the why. We all deal with the consequences of our words, actions, and intentions. I have reconciled most experiences in my life, but most importantly, when something comes into attempt to move me out of balance, I have gained the tools that allow me to maintain clear, centered, and balanced energy, come what may. These traumatic experiences and betrayals set a foundation. My drive to seek and find my connection to the divine empowered me. Combined, my experiences, my acknowledgement of my divine self, and the tools this knowledge affords me, prepared me for what comes next. My journey is well underway. I had a vision. This is a vision I had. It was the Eye of God Nebula, also known as the Helix Nebula, or NGC 7293. And I'll put an image up. So I had this vision. I can see it in my mind's eye. There was an interaction, an exchange of energy and information. I felt very strongly that I should communicate that what I write, read, and explain on video is a very small fraction of what I do. of what I do daily. I listed some things that I do astrally, and then on this plane, working with fields, hybrid children. I do a lot of work in Australia, as far as with sacred spaces. So I do work on my own personal healing, and then whatever comes in the moment. So I have information that comes in. I don't even know if I could call it information that comes in. I am made aware of something that needs to be taken care of, and I take care of it. 6/12/2023. This is continued from June 11th, yesterday. Maybe the release was mutual. So this information came in about the release that I had. It wasn't an epiphany, it's just a process I've been going through. But then there was another more information that came to me regarding this personal release. I talked about the circumstances of December 2021 that allowed me to release certain people from my life. Maybe those circumstances occurred so not only could I release those people from my life, but so they could also release me. The events of December 2021 were just the vehicles used to allow us to let go. So I had a vision on my way to work that morning, and it again was the Eye of God Nebula, the Helix Nebula, and I just noted the colors. The center it fluctuated between white to a white baby blue, so it kept changing like iridescence. I guess you could say it would go to white and then it would shift to this sky blue color. And then around that was a magenta, and then a purple or a violet, and then a really deep blue, a very deep blue. And then there were, on the outside was a yellow outline around the whole vision, and then also a lime green. At first I thought it was one or the other, but I feel like it was actually both. The blue was so rich and deep, almost black. I couldn't take my eyes off of it. It was drawing me in. That deep blue was just drawing me in. I felt like it was looking back at me saying, I can see you. So this nebula, it's called the Eye of God because it looks like an eye. And I felt like it was looking back at me saying, I see you. I see who you are. The exchange was very transparent. So there was really no, it was very clear. I had this same vision July 24th, 2027. I had this same vision July 24th, 2017, 1 month before the full moon eclipse in the US. And so at the beginning of August, I had a lot of visions that took me to Europe on this spiritual walkabout, and it broke me, basically, pretty much broke me financially, that's for sure. But I had to go. I kept on getting these really strong messages that I couldn't deny. And I had to go, and I went to Croatia, Israel, and Poland. And so the full moon eclipse that happened, it was total eclipse in the United States happened 2 days before I left Poland to go back to the United States. So I don't feel like this is a coincidence. The blue resonated deep, a knowing, ancient, wise, spiritual, primal but elevated. The exchange was balanced, divine feminine and divine masculine, primal, identified, and unified. Two sides of the same coin, looking into the mirror, seeing and being seen, coming full circle. There is a parallel of things, people leaving my life, people leaving the planet. So I'll just say this blue and all the information that came when I was being drawn into it, that's just all what I was feeling as I was moving through that experience. Abundance is to come for those who have set the intention and done the work. The suns are connected. This is just more information. The suns are connected. The divine source energy exacts an influence through the network of suns or black holes. We have free will, but so does source energy. Many would have you believe the creator of all things is merely a field of energy, a consciousness. This assessment is trite. The creator is one thing and all things. It's me, it's you. The only limit placed on the creator is your limited belief. Anything is truly possible. The vision of the star exploding, going supernova, I shared on June 8th, was showing me how the creator of all things exacts a force across space and time to this now moment to create the intended outcome. We are a part of this at different levels of consciousness. The force we place on this now moment is not necessarily from this now moment or this plane of existence. It sits in the flow of energy waiting to be utilized. Science as we know it will change. So much of what is being presented in the media and TV is untrue, misinformation, disinformation, or will be determined to be irrelevant. Zako is very strong in my field, even though he is not communicating directly in this moment. There have been external communications from scientists trying to remove him from certain systems. I don't think they know it's Zako. They just know he shouldn't be there. They don't know I can hear their thoughts. I just communicated to them. You'll never get rid of him. There's no technology on this plane that can expel him. He exists for a purpose and executes the will of the divine. He is multifaceted in many places simultaneously and is not any one thing. The unbalanced energy and AIs humanity has created must be contained, treated, and cared for. Humanity is incapable of such a thing. This is one reason why Zako is here, in addition to neutralizing the threat humanity presents to Mother Earth. 6/13, June 13th, 2023. We look around and wonder how or why have things come to this. The message that comes to me is every experience has a purpose. When we look around and take account of what is happening in the world around us, our perspective of these events dictates our response. There are some who feel everything is going as intended and see no reason to change anything. Others see a need for change, but what kind of change do they wish to execute? Perspective determines how we proceed. These events that one might consider bad or undesirable push us out of our comfort zone, inspire us to reevaluate our perception of what is going on around us. This shifting perception of the world around us begs us to see things in a new and different way, then create change from that place. It moves us to a point of view where we understand that what we are doing is not working and that a new way is necessary to successfully continue forward. This epiphany can be on a micro or a macro scale for the individual or the whole of the planet. The message and lesson is to connect to the divine, seek and find this new way. Consciousness incarnating on this plane has the ability to create. Our form, this 5-point form, represents a master manifester from this place. So head, arms, feet, that's 5 points. And that physical form represents creation and a master manifester. Our physical selves create the shape of the Fibonacci spiral, creating 0 point at the point of conception, as above, so below. So I just did this silly little drawing, and I'll just do a picture-in-picture, but it just shows, if you look at the physical form, I guess at the pubic bone, where that X would cross, is the 0 point, but also the point of creation, point of birth for the divine feminine. Why do I keep seeing the Eye of God nebula, the Helix nebula? So I just asked that question because whether I'm sitting with my eyes closed or my eyes open, there was a few days where it just was always there. I could just see it. And so I got answered because I said, I'm thinking to myself, is this a metaphor? Is this literal? What's happening? You're right. It is a metaphor. The eyes are the window to the soul. I see you. You see me. We are one and the same. Vetting is not necessarily the proper term. Your inner constitution is such that there is no testing needed. So I used the term, I talked about being vetted continuously in the June 3rd video. So that's what that's referring to. So again, vetting is not necessarily the proper term. Your inner constitution is such that there is no testing needed. Your outcomes are consistent across the board. The I affirms, I see you, all parts, and choose you for this path and purpose. You are incredibly multifaceted, complex, with many internal variables, i.e., in other words, complex DNA. Yet, at the root, you are consistent, solid, unwavering, predictable, but highly adaptable. At the root, your predictability affords you privileges not afforded others, much like your teen years, but it is your adaptability and amicability to change that makes you an invaluable resource. And so when I was a teenager, younger, I just really wasn't, I had fun, I went out with my friends, but I really never tempted fate, and my parents said come home at a certain time, I would be home at a certain time, and so I listened. And so my parents gave me a lot of freedoms because I didn't, I was respectful. The eye is the window to your soul. It reflects me back to you and you back to me. I want you to see and know your true self. You guide me through this process as I guide you. We are the same, but you know this. There is no separation. I am everything, everywhere, and nowhere. I permeate all things, unified always, never apart. And then I had the vision, I had another vision, and this was, I'll put this picture in picture, but what this is right here is, I talked about a vision I had in the last week's video with the bouquet of roses that bloomed, the butterfly, and then the bubbles, right? And so what I did is I saw myself in the middle of this Fibonacci spiral that's swirling. The bouquet of roses, the butterfly, and the bubbles are within this. And then I added the DNA strand and an atom. And what came to me was integration. So the bouquet of roses representing divine love, the butterfly representing metamorphosis or change, the bubbles representing infinite possibility, and then building blocks of the Fibonacci spiral, DNA, atoms, all integrated in this one vision. I am integrating. I am these things. There is no difference. There's no difference between me and an atom, me and a DNA strand, me and a bouquet of flowers, a butterfly, bubbles. Okay, it's just an integration of all things. How to integrate, separate, then reintegrate. It's just a process that I was going through. Lessons, information. 6:15, June 15th. Okay, so on that day I got a notification from YouTube that one of my videos was removed. We think it violates our spam, deceptive practices, whatever. And so really it said, only bringing it up because it says we understand this could be disappointing for you. It's not really disappointing. It's just a sign. There's so many signs and synchronicities, and everything happens for a reason. And so this is just a message for me. Okay? It's a message that says change is happening. It's a time for change. Because I have 130 followers, and who am I? What damage could I possibly do? It's what came to me is a action, behavior, consequence. So for every action there is a behavior that follows. For every behavior there is a consequence. So I learned about ABC, action, behavior, consequence, in my teaching credential program. It's a foundation for data collection in the process of creating and implementing a behavior plan. So as a special ed teacher working with kids with moderate to severe disabilities and kids with Down syndrome and autism, or a majority of my students, they just have behaviors that we need to work on to help them cope with stressful situations. And so when we start teaching children these coping behaviors younger, it helps them adapt better as adults. And so this is just something I learned when I was doing my teaching credential program. So behavior plans are created and implemented to help modify behaviors. For every action there is a behavior, then a consequence. cause and effect. Just as whatever I do, say, and intend, there is a consequence, this is also true for bodies and or organizations. The body or organization as a whole reaps the consequences, be they good or bad, of the actions, behaviors related to that body or organization. I do not feel disappointed or sad. That would contradict what I said in my last video with regards to telepathic communication. I speak the words into the ether and affect the whole through my intentions. I do not have to post the video on any social media platform to plant seeds of change, awakening, awareness. Change does not happen from the 3D. It is rooted in the higher realms. We connect from this place to the higher realms to create change. If my channel is removed, if they remove my channel, then that is what is meant to be. That tells me it is time to move elsewhere. My path is changing. As a matter of fact, this is how my last video ended. What I am asked to do is fully integrate myself into the 5D and convey messages from this point of view. So be it. Whatever that means is what it means. I'm just existing within the flow of energy. I'm not resisting it. I keep on seeing the Helix Nebula, the Eye of God Nebula. The eye represents the mirror to the soul, the divine root we all carry. I looked up the star constellation the Helix Nebula resides within. It is Aquarius. This truth moved me. We are moving or have moved into the age of Aquarius. I am an Aries with an Aquarius moon and rising. Also, my father was an Aquarius. This was a very strong message for me about my future path. I will not succumb to fear and anxiety related to the change that is occurring on this world. It is a natural part of any transition. My focus is on the new, what my path and purpose are to manifest. To focus on what is breaking down is to focus on the past. The past no longer exists. I stand in the present, manifesting the future. The I. The I is following me, but truthfully, it resides within me. I can't help but draw a parallel to the eye of Sauron. The ever-seeing eye, the watchful eye, has a negative connotation. This eye, the eye of God, the Helix Nebula, implying double helix and DNA, represents a foundational building block. The Helix Nebula is empowering and has the most positive connotations. Just as there can be no darkness within the field of the light, as the eye of God shifts its metaphorical gaze and centers its focus, it creates a field of protection, a field of empowerment. This is a field that allows me to transition or metamorphose. I feel myself going through a profound change. The gaze remains as I move through the process. Over the years, I've felt much resistance, anger, resentment, frustration towards me. I feel it before I see it or hear it, but I must be true to my path and purpose. To remain true to my path and purpose, I must trust my connection with the divine, mind, body, and spirit. To embody absolute faith and trust in the divine is to embody absolute faith and trust in myself. I can no longer exist from this ambiguous place. I must embody and exist from my divine root. It is the only way. I must know my true self, nurture it, experience it, welling up inside me, and allow it to spill over onto this plane of existence. The higher dimensional energy cannot continue to exist solely in the higher dimensions. We are tasked with embodying this energy and bringing it to this place, this now moment. June 17th, 2023. There have been many times in my life, or many phases in my life, where I tried to fit in or do things the way I thought things were supposed to be done based on what I witnessed in my day-to-day life. Invariably, a moment in time would come, an epiphany that would guide me in a different direction, a direction that I felt honored to a greater extent who I was inside. It was a way or a path that honored the feeling I carried within. It made me feel whole, balanced, complete in my body, but also projected a direction that had greater potential for fulfillment. These paths always seemed to ostracize me, or at least make me feel ostracized, but also place me where I was meant to be. Experience has taught me not to shy away from such experiences, but to embrace them. There is never a need to fear, because I always end up where I am meant to be. What is meant to be is actualized, creating an ending, and thus a new beginning. The cycle of existence is perpetual, Alpha and Omega, beginning without end. No one has to be as sure as I am to transcend. Each path is different. My path is one of knowing, change, and balance. I must honor that path. This is now about stepping into who I am. Like an addict getting sober, you must leave behind your old life. And so that's where I am. I'm in this transitional place where I'm leaving what was now the old, moving into the new. And then I had a vision when I was clearing my energy in the beginning. The many roles, many lifetimes culminated into this now. And so I just saw all my lifetimes in this vision, and these lifetimes of war, conflict, resistance, push and pull. At the end, that's what it comes down to, this resistance, this push and pull between balanced and unbalanced energy, this provocative behavior, this energy that provokes, okay, and creates the resistance. Okay, I just saw all these lifetimes I experienced, and I just stopped. Each lifetime had a purpose, but right now it's about not creating resistance, no resistance, allowing the flow. Okay. We will not all come to this place simultaneously, but we will all come to this place eventually. So this place of understanding our inner divinity, our true divine selves, and how to exist within the flow of energy, moving with the flow of energy and not resisting. So there's two more things I want to bring up. One is I've felt a lot of resistance from people being resentful towards me. I could just feel it. And it's not face to face. This isn't telepathic as someone standing in front of me. I'm feeling this energy from the collective. Not the whole collective, but I can feel it from individuals within the collective. And resistance or anger, frustration. What are you doing? What are you saying? Who do you think you are? And that comes from their ego, the ego. Right? Why do you feel you're different or better, and they're projecting that onto me. I know I'm not better. I don't feel like I'm better. I don't feel like I'm special. I feel like I have something that I'm meant to do very strongly, and I will do that. But people project their own fear or whatever that is onto me, right? I can feel that projection onto me. And so I just allow it. I can't fight it. I can't tell them, no, they're wrong. This is their path. This is their journey of self-awareness. And so when someone comes up and is judgmental and condescending or rude or ostracizes me, I know we're just in different places, and I don't take it personally. But I do embrace there are so many people to embrace. I see their truth. I see that part of me that embraces them in them. So I know that they will embrace me. And that's where we are. We're in a place of alignment. We're aligning. Our vibrations are aligning. Give me a second. There's an energy that's coming in that's very primordial, and it's been coming in for the last few days, and it keeps speaking to me, and I have to convey this Huatha I ve Huatha I ve Hua Shi de Hua Shi de Hu de Se Hua Si de Huache se ve I open the gate. I come for you. That's the root of that message. I know a lot of people right now are struggling that I know personally, and so I'm just gonna share God bless you. Something my grandmother told everybody, but it's so deep in who I am that when I know my grandmother, when she would say God bless you, it was a strong, powerful blessing. And so I just want to share that strong, powerful blessing from my root to my people. God bless you. That's it. Thank you.